and the S.E.E channel, and it is Monday, April 21st. We didn't do anything yesterday on respect for Easter, and as like a lot of other YouTubers, that should be respected. Dropping out any content and or live streams. So before we get started, if you could like, share, and subscribe to the channel, comment down below, as that all helps the algorithm to get us pushed out there and recommended for other viewers to watch. Let's see. So we did leave yesterday. Got up early. I made a delivery. The cat couldn't get there. Well, my customer couldn't get there. He was out for Easter dinner, so I'd gotten there early. So I just went ahead and started my 10-hour break. He got there, pulled it off the back of the trailer. I spent the night at his place and then got up at 2 o'clock this morning. 2:30. I was on just after 2:30. I logged in at 2:30 and then got on the road shortly thereafter. So 500 some miles today, 650 some miles yesterday, and so now we're down here in lovely Loves, which this out of the national chains, it's the TA and Petro, then the Loves, of course the mom and pops. You can't ever dismiss them. I didn't know how far I was going to get, but I was down to 1 hour left for my whole clock today, so we just cut it short here. Plus my fuel light was on 45 minutes back up the road at my last stop today. So I pulled in the Loves, fueled or just threw in enough fuel to get me down to Roanoke. I was going to say, what's that? Oh, dog. To get down to Roanoke, I got to work my way Roanoke out the Martinsville area and then back across the state towards southern Kentucky and all that, southern and central Kentucky. So that's that. We're still keeping busy. It has been a crazy time with the economy. Every day I'm listening to the morning shows that with the market open to the shows that are doing the market close. And today one of my morning shows did a live stream this afternoon saying, dang, the bell closed and it was like 1,100 points down on the stock. Now the funny thing with it is I had a very interesting phone call today. Friend of mine, we grew up back in high school. This cat is looking back in high school, we were a couple of doofuses in the day. Just out having fun. We're just 80s kids, you know. We early 80s, we graduated in 85. We just went out and partied, chased girls, and just had a good time. Did a lot of drinking back in the young days when you could do that. This dude's in the he's over in DC, and he's done very well for himself in the sense that he's got a couple pensions coming his way when he decides to walk away. We got talking for about an hour, and I said, man, I got to cut it short a little bit because I had to get a couple things ready before we went live here. But he's done very well, and I can't really elaborate what he does in the government, but he's not being affected. He is not being affected by Doge, but he is seeing other people around him. But then again, he said some of them people, they do need to go. A lot of them are just there. I don't know if you'd want to say a lot of people work at a job that are dumb as a bag of rocks, and sometimes, well, be thankful they got let go. So a lot of them, you know, at this point they got severance packages and all that, so they're getting a kind of a deal to step away. But yeah, for the most part, I want to say that I'm very blessed that a lot of people I've surrounded myself to look up to mentor, align myself, because every day, especially here in April, as we had started into the second quarter, and it's only going to get worse. Third quarter is even going to be worse than this. It's we're just going to see more downturn. We're going to need to feel this pain. And if you don't like it, it's oh well. I guess instead of caviar and steaks and lobster, you may just have to eat hot dogs and bologna for a year or two. Um, this country, the people out there protesting, the people complaining, are also the people that are complaining about first world problems. And people all around the world have got to, their day to day, what their normal living is what we'd be considering stepping down into stepping down in life. And I hate to say it, but we need to bring down our way of living down quite a few notches to the fact that we're living and complaining of in the entitlement of first world problems, and we need to get back to where our grandparents and great grandparents were. What goes up has got to come down. We can't live up here and sustain a life like this. It just ends up burning out. And these people that are throwing themselves on the ground and throwing a temper tantrum, I'm welcoming the economic pain. We need to go through it. If we don't take vacations, if we don't get new cars, if we don't get new TVs, hey, fine. Gives a shit. All a human being needs is shelter over themselves, water, food, and clothing. The rest of it is just first world problems. And that's it. And, me and my friend were discussing on that hour-long call today, I have not indulged in stuff since COVID kicked in. And the things I do have, when people see what I have and they're just like, must be nice, I worked for it. My shit's paid off. I've got probably two bills that need to get hacked off, and I'm sitting good. And I'm glad I took the advice from many of the people out here to pay off debt and park money aside in a place where you could store capital that isn't going to be affected by the volatility of the stock market. So the wife and I are doing well, and I had a good day. I was gone. I left yesterday morning, so I wasn't there for Easter, but I did get up and basically like a steak and egg and a Belgian waffle breakfast brunch I made. She made the pork chops. We had pork chops, so I did the pork steaks and eggs for me. She had the waffles. I had a couple waffles, but yeah, that was we made up for that on Saturday. So I ran some errands, got some stuff done for the day and a half I was home, and back out. And that's the thing is we know we want to get out of that house eventually. That is not a house you want to grow old in. With the HOA fees and all that, that is not a situation. Fiscally, you want to be responsible. I'm 58. 20 years from now, I'm 78. 30 years from now, I'm 88. I want to be able to look at 58 to 88 and say, what can I manage that isn't going to force me out? Many people, they get a house and they get to a point that their health, their age, doesn't allow them to stay into the house that they bought and raised their family, and the kids got to come back and come in and pull the parents out and either put them in with them or put them into some kind of nursing or assisted living. And that's what the wife and I have been on for about 7 years, is that we need to align ourselves with a house, and we need to align ourselves that we can grow old in a house that will not force us out regardless of our health. So we just don't want to be overwhelmed with a lot of upkeep and overhead. So, but the bank notes and any debts, I said she's been throwing everything in the kitchen sink, the silverware and the glasses at debt right now. And for the first quarter, we did pay off one debt, and we got about 3 more to go. And I'm clear. And to say to my friend here, I want to say, 10 years ago, we were very hefty, in debt. probably more in the up and up of $250,000, but I want to say that's more than half cut, and that is just a lot of personal debt and a lot of big stuff. But we also we have a lot of equity. We still have a lot of equity in our house, but we only took about 30% of the equity in our house just before COVID to put HVAC in our house, and we paid off two major debts that really knocked a lot of that down that was on the books. So the one thing I can say is you don't ever want to be playing into the global elitist, the cabal of this system that they have set up to become rich. It's not your Elon Musk, it's not your Donald Trump, it's your George Soros, your Larry Finks, your who's the other guy that's running the Vanguard? Larry Finks got the BlackRock. But these big hedge funds and all these billion-dollar hedge funds, you know, this Rothschild family, it's all this jazz. You're playing in their system. They designed a system. It's called the banking system. You buy into it. You take loans. They make money off from you, and they just keep manipulating that money by expanding their wealth. And that's the system I don't want to play in, and I'm not going to. And you know, how are you going to get around that? There's ways of building your capital and parking it to where you can pull it tax-free, arbitrage it into something that's going to make you more money. The thing of it is when I take money out of where I've got money parked, I want to use it, arbitrage it into an area that is going to make me more money. I am not going to go and just say, oh, you know, I've got liquidity over here, and I want to use this liquidity to go out and buy me a toy or buy me a new pickup, stuff like that, or a sports car. If I got money parked, and it could be tens of thousands of dollars, there better be a good deal where I'm going to pull that money out and use it, you know, and put it somewhere where it's going to make me more money than where it's parked at. That's why it's sitting over here on the sideline. And but if I see a deal come up where I can pull that out and up that ante, I'm going to do that. And that's what I was telling this guy. I said, you know, hey, if my control cost to pull that money out of this area and park it over here, say it's 5% to pull it out, but over here, if I park it over here to make more money, and it's going to give me an 18-20% return or a 15% return, well, I'm making 10% to 15% return on that. Yeah, that's a good return. I try to keep it to where if I'm going to pull money to put it over here, it's got to be at least 12 to 15%. I really, you know, a lot of people are like 7-8%. That's stock market crap. That's when you're taking a required, or the RMD, you know, required minimum distribution, like when you're pulling on your IRA or pulling maybe your 401k or something like that. Yeah, you got to watch, you know, what your costs are, but there's a formula for that. When you take money out, what it's costing you to take that out, you know, on the side. Usually, I don't. There's a way. I'm in the truck. I don't have the desktop and my desk to sit here and work this out. But there is definitely a way that you want to look at your numbers when you pull money out of your retirement investments. And you don't want to take out more than what that account is making, if that makes sense of direction of what I'm trying to get across. So because you always want that account to always be flipping and making money, so you're taking out more than it's making on a return or dividends or interest or something like that. Otherwise you'll just deplete it. And usually they say 401ks are only good if it's got the average money in it that people put into those. They usually last about 5 years, some up to 10. So all it is just a supplement like Social Security is. It's just a supplement to your pension or any other retirements you may have. So, yeah, I kind of explained to them what I got going on in a nutshell. But you got to be smart in these day and times. It is crazy times right now. Now, I pulled up over here on the tablet. What I'm seeing since the second quarter has kicked in is the stock market is tanking like crazy. Today, 1,100 points down. I don't care. I can give a rat's ass. That I've been saying it since COVID started. I said, the hell, the damn stock market needs to take about a 90% haircut. Oh, what could that be? Well, yeah, it needs to. The economy just needs to tank. It needs, because we need a reset. What do you think this reset? Everyone's like, well, if we can get a correction or a reset, what do you think that is? We're going to need to feel the pain. So, so be it. But what I pulled up here is just some different bankruptcies and layoffs. And that's this year. So Mack Trucks plans on layoffs at their main plant, Pennsylvania. So how many? And I'm going to get you the dates on this. This is April 17th of 25. Mack Truck plans layoffs at Pennsylvania, Maryland factories. 450 workers there. The company will cut between 200 and 350 jobs. The Lehigh Valley operations in lower, wherever that is, township, Pennsylvania. Okay. I-60 truck carrier closes nearly after 50 years of operation. And there's been another one up by us, right in my hometown, so where this truck gets service at the Ryder Shop. Some of this company up in Grand Rapids, they claimed 51 years in business, and they went out of business. I want to say, was it one of their trucks? No, I thought it was, but it wasn't. The mechanic corrected me. But they turned in some of their trucks, and that was a company called Equity. They'd been in business for 51 years, but that's in here. They closed up. Another company, I think last year or the year before, Sunset, right there in Grand Rapids, they closed. 78 trucks got turned into Ryder. So it's logistically, when you're seeing companies with anywhere from 25, 50, 100 trucks or more, and then you look at Yellow, 22,000 drivers, and then you got the mix of office, dock workers, and mechanics. Every auction lot that I've been to in every state I passed has got a yellow truck or trailer still sitting in it. So it's some crazy times out there. And my truck's facing the west, so I got the sun still blaring in my eyes here. This I-60, family-owned and operated Florida trucking company, has announced that it will close after 44 years in business. Stark, located in Stark, Florida, Davis Express. So that is of April 16th, 2025. So every day, every week, another trucking company is falling off the cliff. It's like one of those machines where you throw a coin in and the sweeper comes up, pushes the coins up until one drops off. Every day, that's like another trucking company, another trucking company. And so what is causing a lot of this? And I've had family ask me, what's causing all this? It's an array of things. Bad management. A lot of these companies, I can tell you, probably one of them up there in Grand Rapids was under bad management, bad decisions from bad management. Others are feeling economic pain. Higher interest rates. Truck prices are going up. So even the leasing company for this, they're like, plan on when our leases are up, this is where we paid for the last set of trucks, the current set of trucks. They said the next set of trucks are going to cost this much. They already have that projection. The leasing company does. Why? Because of the EPA and all the standards for all the emissions on that truck is raising it up every couple years. You're seeing the trucks just stepping up 20%, 15, 20% more in price. And now our company's got to look ahead when these leases come up, what those trucks are going to cost in a projection, and say, Now we've got to budget this much money aside monthly and annually, what it's going to cost us to continue to have this many trucks leased on, you know, to operate and make deliveries as such as I've been doing. So then you have to, okay, how do we offset the cost with the increasing prices? And then you got to look at, now, does freight rates go up? Is that gets tacked on to the delivery cost on top of the product that we deliver for the manufacturers. They're also done a price increase April 2nd this year across the board, all manufacturers. So now all the people, I want to say everybody in America is going to feel that price when they go to get these products. And there's also now talk that there could be another price increase through these manufacturers later on this year. So I can tell you what I bought one of these products 10 years ago, and what it costs now is over 4 times more of the cost. So from what I paid to where they're at now, I want to say they're they're about 3 times more of the cost. 3 times more. Because I just looked at the sticker price of one today at one of the customers. So that all said, lost my train of thought here. But prices are going up. The economy is constricting right now. We need to feel the pain, and people don't want to feel pain. They don't want to give up their jet setting to a Sandals Resort, Cancun, Disney, Carnival Cruise, and oh my gosh, I've been working 40 hours a week for 6 months, and I'm burned out and tired. I don't know. I've been doing like 60 to 70 hours here. I got a detailing business. I've got other businesses. Plus, I keep up my house and all that. Dude, I'm not bitching. I'm pacing myself a little slower than I'd say 10 years ago, but I am still going. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me from not having to get a gym membership and go to a gym, because the product I unload is anywhere from 100 to 450 pounds. And I am physically going all the time doing physical activities. And that is carpentry work to automotive work to grabbing a polisher and polishing anything from RVs to cars. So I just keep my body going. We definitely, that's the other thing too, is just eating healthy and all that. We'll get to that subject. I'm going to finish this out. Layoffs hit up to 350 more workers at the Volvo plant in Virginia. I drive by the Volvo plant on I-81, which is, I'm on I-64 right now, so south of here. The utility plant for utility trailers, the reefer trailers, you'll see a lot of U.S. Foods, Prime, Inc., and all these other big companies there. You'll see a lot of their trailers brand new out of the factory back door, parked out in the lot, getting ready to be delivered to them. Mack Trucks laying off, Davis laying off, GM lays off 7, and this GM article is April 14th, 2025. GM temporarily lays off 700 workers at U.S. and Canadian factories. Trucking and logistics bankruptcies reported across the U.S. So there's, companies there in Texas going bankrupt. Illinois Trucking Company with 250 drivers abruptly ceases operation. And that is April 3rd, 2025. Automaker to temporarily lay off 900 U.S. workers due to tariffs. Q1 ends with thousands more freight layoffs. UPS to temporarily close Portland package facility for major retrofit. Yellow's new bankruptcy plan revealed. And then Yellow down here, Yellow's, because remember, Yellow was the big one that got 2 years ago that went down. They've been around, 75, almost 100 years. But their California terminal, 325 door terminal, fetches $55 million in a sale. So here's the kicker on that. Yep, don't go away. It went away. Come on. Let's see if I can get it back. I double clicked. You would. I lost it. So let's see if I can get it. There it is. Right there. What it said was, here we are. Go back down here. On yellow. Stop checking. It said right there. Yellow's creditors battle over 550 million plus carcass heats up. So their creditors, like when they sell a terminal for 55 million, there's creditors in line, depending on what position they're in, that are looking to get a payout on that. So as they're liquidating all their assets. U.S. Postal Service invites Doge to fix structural. 51-year-old Michigan trucking company, that was equity. Two major logistic firms plan layoffs in U.S. and Europe. Illinois construction trucking company files Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that is March 7th of 25. So like I said, this first quarter and starting the second quarter, layoffs hit over 14,300 workers tied to freight sectors in U.S., Canada, and Mexico, March 6, 25. So the freight industry is going like the Titanic. It is just like one person's jumping off, another person's jumping off as the freight industry is going down. And there is no life preservers, no lifeboats, no nothing coming to save these companies. They either just leveraged up and they just maxed out, and the freight rates went down. So, you know, the thing of it is you can go out and buy new trucks, trailers, you can get contracts, but then these, you know, the freight starts going down, or these people come back and want to renegotiate their contracts because now the manufacturer that they're hauling, you know, the trucking companies are hauling freight for, they're like, hey, nothing's moving, nothing's selling. Our demand, we're scaling back on production, so their assembly or their manufacturing is scaled back from, say, you know, maybe they're pumping out 1,000 units a week. Now they're only doing 500 units a week. So now that's less trucks that needs to move less freight. So now all of a sudden you got trucks sitting around looking somewhere else to pull freight. And if you can't get a good deal on the freight rate to move product from A to B, and fuel costs being volatile, that it can be here or it can be up here and back down here, because this damn country and the way the companies run to move it a nickel or a dime, but to move it a dollar swing, you know, in such a way that you can't set a budget. Trucking companies can't set their fuel budget. And it's getting to be very, very, I want to say, audacious of them in insurance companies, you know, with the influx of their rates going up, that these people are like, dude, I've already set my budget for the year. All of a sudden, all these prices or all this other stuff to keep the trucks legal has gone up 30, 40, 50%. That's not in their budget. So now all of a sudden, their capital is getting burnt out, and they're out of capital. They're leveraged up at the bank. They got no more borrowing power. They've got no more hat tricks to pull to go to the bank and give them a business plan to say how they're going to make up for it. So you know what? You just throw in the towel. And a couple of the companies said, hey, we're going to do our employees right. We're going to get them back to the terminal. We're going to make sure they're paid until the end of this second quarter. That one got announced here Friday or Saturday. And they want to get all the trucks turned in. The mechanics go over them so they can turn them in to the dealerships or the bank or wherever they got to turn them into, and let them just get repoed. So that's what's going on. And the repo market, you know, for automobiles, when did it become a thing that you need the necessity of transportation to maybe drive an hour to work, or for me, it's 17 minutes to go to work. Park my car Sunday morning and get back in it on, say, Thursday or Friday, so it sits there 4, 5, 6 days. Why do I need an $800 or $1,000 a month car payment for a freaking vehicle to sit there? And it only gets me from A to B. I basically could just take an old rust bucket, as long as it's got heat and it's safe, you know, for the winter time and that, but just heat and safety, I can just go here or there. I don't need, you know, I see these people at gas stations, or even at the car. I went by the car wash to see people with BMWs and Audis out there, and I'm like, you know, $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 vehicle, and I'm like, man, I don't know, but I can tell you that there are many YouTube channels making bank, dropping content on repoing cars right now. It isn't one of these South Beach or Miami repo stuff on Discovery Channel. Go to YouTube. You want to see the real deal of shit and confrontation and all that jazz. It's blowing up. It's blowing up out there. Car repos are at their all-time high. Payments are at their all-time high. We're at $1.3 trillion in consumer credit card debt. People are maxing out their credit cards. At what point, and I was telling my friend that, at what point everyone is going 1,000 miles an hour, thinking everything's fine, I'm good, until they reach that point, America reaches that point, and they hit that brick wall, and this economy is just, it hits that brick wall and everything just poof and crashes and splats apart. That's when the pain's gonna hit, and it's gonna be the oh shit moment. And another discussion I had with my spouse was, when that moment comes, the grocery store shelves are going to be empty. I'm going to tell you guys right now, what is stopping people, and this, I'm not talking about immigrants or gangs or anyone, but just common folk that can't supply food for their table, to come out of the store with a grocery cart full and you get bum rushed. And someone, you know, takes your cart, knocks you over, thumps you on the head, kicks your ass, whatever it may be, and takes your cart. So, you know, are the police going to step in for that? Is grocery store security going to come out and defend you for that? You know, they've already been fighting the damn people walking out of Walgreens and all these pharmacies and Walmart and Target, just going in and just coming out with droves of shopping carts full of shit. So once you get to that point, what happens if they don't want to go in the store and they just wait for you in the parking lot and just bum rush you out there? So there's all that possibility and scenarios. You guys got to know what's going to be coming, and it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get uglier. And that's why I limit to where I go and what I do when I'm not driving. When I'm home, I stay home. I do the very minimum of what I got to do out and about, because I'm keeping my head on the swivel to see what's coming next. And I think a very volatile and very violent country, market, economy is going to be coming to where people are going to riot, because when you start taking their money and their food and all their livelihood away, people are going to get very violent. And I hate to say it, folks, but hey, you want to live in the closet with rainbows, pixie dust, and unicorns, and just think everything's going to be warm and fuzzy every single day. I don't know, but at some point you have to pay the piper. You're going to have to go out and get your hands dirty. You're going to have to go out and make a living. So social programs get cut, and your card don't work at the grocery store anymore. So you know you're going to have to ante up. You're going to have to start working for your keep, and or you're going to have to move in with family if you lose your place or your car. So I don't know, but got to be very diligent and smart. It's a very volatile world. The economy is probably the worst I've seen it in my lifetime. And I know I lived through the 70s, but what I noticed in the 70s through my dad in manufacturing and a chemical plant and my mom's side of the family in the auto industry, I saw lots of layoffs. Auto industry shutting down, closing plants, dismantling plants, and just leaving just an empty parking lot there. Where a plant like Buick City, my stepdad made it out of there, and a couple years later, they leveled it. It's like miles of just empty concrete when you go down 475 through Flint. Buick City's gone. They shipped it over to China. Hey, congratulations! You bought a GM product named Buick. It's built in China. I better keep my mouth clean on that one. But you know, be very cautious on what you buy and know where your stuff's coming from. But I've watched a lot of plant closures, layoffs, closures, and the plants leave the country. Not just relocate in the country, leave the country. My dad made the Rockwell axles for semi trucks. He was in the brake plant, made brakes, brake shoes, brakes, all the brake components for these axles on the semi trucks. They closed up and moved. They left the country, and you're going to see that. We watched it. My wife and I coming from Midland, Michigan, where Dow Chemical and Dow Corning is. And we've watched plant dismantling of plants and getting out of production of chemical plants and just selling them off and putting them over in Europe. Europe's taking a lot of that stuff from Dow for manufacturing. So you gotta know, you gotta get a skill set. You gotta find out what your niche is in life, and you gotta go after it and make money. Start a business. That's the best thing I can tell my friend. You know, even if you're gonna be set on a pension and that, but if you still, all that knowledge and everything you learned, even for me, all the knowledge and everything I learned, I want to keep expanding on it and learn more and keep going and still have a good time. Hey, I can be, you know, in 10 years, I could be out on a golf course and then, you know, grab my tablet off the golf cart and it's like, hey, I conduct, you know, take a few minutes, conduct some business, boom, still be hitting golf balls down through the next, you know, 9 or 18 holes. So yeah, I'm going to be doing business. I'm still going to have fun. But, you know, at some point in a job like this, and one guy I will say is he's raising the awareness too, is Tommy over at Trucking Unfiltered. You know, a lot of people got to say what they got to say about him, but one thing you will say is if you listen to him when he's on a roll, dude knows you got to have an exit strategy. You can't live out here on the road doing this trucking forever. Trucking, it doesn't matter, local, over the road, whatever. You could do local as long as you know you're not running like 16 hours a day. I don't, you know, I told the company here, when I leave this company, I'm done driving. I'm not driving no more. I'm not driving over the road. I've seen what I wanted to see, and I see the mentality of just stupid people driving in America. Yeah, that's all of you that drive with your right hand like this in the middle of the column holding your phone. Everybody does it. I can look right down just like this, look down, and I can see everyone going by, phone in their hand. I'll bet you 9 out of 10 people got a phone in their hand. So, you know, do I feel sympathy when people get in accidents and they're, you know, they got all this electronic gear in their hand or the infotainment centers in the middle? No, not one bit, because their attention span is not there for driving. So, hey, we got 70, 75 mile an hour speed limits. When I started driving truck, speed limit for cars and trucks was 55. You know what? I'm paid by the hour here. So I said that to that guy. I'm paid by the hour. Some of these companies pay by the mile. Some pay by the load, you know, like the commission on the little flatbedders. A lot of flatbedders will get that. They'll get like 25, 30, 33% of what the load pays. I say, hell, man, if someone was a senator, congressman, said, let's make all the nation 55 miles an hour, I'll be raising my fucking hand saying, hell yeah, let's do it. And I'm just going to, dude, I'm going to make more money because I'm just going to go slower. So, really? So, really, I'd like to see someone at least, you know, do some crap like that, and see how that screws everyone's day up, especially someone like Swift or Prime or whatever, because they want speed limiters. How about just set the speed limit down? Not trucks. So, but yeah, so anyhow, there's my mind. My wheels have been spinning for the last couple of days, just kind of coming up with scenarios and that. But folks, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna grab some dinner, talk with the wife, see what's going on, and I've been getting up. I got up at 3:30 Sunday morning, and I got up at 2 o'clock this morning, shaking and hustling and going because, well, FedEx. What about FedEx? I see that in the chat. FedEx what? Yeah, FedEx has been doing some cutbacks too, cutting back on terminals, especially downsizing a lot of their terminals. But yeah, so you got to just keep going, man. How do I keep my energy going all day? To be like this and kind of wiry at times is I fast all day. Yeah, speed limit. I'd say, yeah, I'll tell you what, if they want to bring the speed limit down to 55 or 60 and say that's a national standard, I'd say bring it, baby. Just got to learn to leave earlier. But no, I fast. I'll have, I have a good meal. I don't eat no pastries, no pop, none of that crap in here. And Tommy has said that too. You can open up my fridge, because we were talking about some guy that was just boasting and bragging about his pay stubs and flashing his pay stubs on YouTube and showing his big refrigerator full of beer and that. And I'm like, and this dude's a truck driver, and I'm like, man, you're setting a piss poor example for new guys that are looking to get in, or new guys starting out in the industry. You're not an example. You're a piss poor example of what not to do. But if Tommy sees this, hey, props to you, because that one there, I was watching that and I said, this guy's a train wreck. So I was watching that like 3 o'clock this morning, and I'm like, dude, this guy's got to just, hopefully his company just does some disciplinary action on him for the way he acts. So anyhow, stay safe out there. Continue educating yourself, because remember, knowledge is learned, not taught. And hey, that's how you're going to advance and progress, man. Get yourself into learning more new things. Don't ever think you can't learn something. If you can take a welder and a diesel mechanic and go to school to be a chiropractor, doctor, exercise physiologist, well, damn it, I damn well achieved that. So if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. So I was written off that I could never do it, and I proved everyone wrong, and I'm going to keep proving people. I have nothing to prove to people anymore. All I'm going to do is just what I do, and my actions are just going to reflect that. So anyhow, take care, folks, and ride along videos coming at you Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm trying to think, Prestonsburg to Hazard, Kentucky. So it'll be a nice little ride for you there, and I'll have another one the following week. So I'm trying to stay a couple weeks ahead on those. So till next time, see you, folks.